Well guys, another successful year for Sonic the Hedgehog is officially in the books. This really has been an abundant year for us, hasn't it?
Of course. Let's see here. The final season of Sonic Prime, the Knuckles Paramount series, Sonic X Shadow Generations, that Top Golf game that we went to a couple weeks ago, where Sonic was hitting the balls like crazy, and a bunch of Sonic Symphony World Tour shows. And now, Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Oh yes, Sonic Symphony, where my human counterpart went twice in Boston.
It would be awesome if there was a Sonic Symphony right near where my voice actress lives. I doubt it'll be in her hometown. Probably she'll have to travel to Kansas City.
You mean Colleen O'Shaughnessy?
No, my fine Calvin Coolidge. The person that is behind voicing me and Laurel the Dragon Cat.
Oh, I feel like a dum-dum.
Oh, really now? Well, I gave that away. Also, sorry for not making it to a good portion of your Sonic and Sonic reviews. I've been quite busy doing maintenance on the Tornado, making it better than ever, especially for the winter. Although, I had a fun time seeing Deadpool and Wolverine with you guys, despite Eggman having a hissy fit.
I can confirm that Eggman did have a hissy fit over taking you to see an R-rated movie.
Typical Eggman. Doesn't he know that I swapped voice actors and I no longer am dubbed Potty Mouth Prower?
As much as I enjoyed doing this voice way back when, it really does a number on my voice.
David, look at me in the eyes right now. Never do that voice around me ever again. Do you want your voice actor's voice to give in and he ends up with a raspy sore throat and he has to drink gallons of water?
I did, Yowie. Right, Shay, where were we? We were gonna get started on giving our thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Exactly. Hold it right there.
Well, look who it is. It's none other than Keanu Reeves the Hedgehog.
Shadow, to what do we owe the pleasure? Did you guys forget that 2024 is the year of Shadow? I mean, come on. I have an entire single-player campaign included in a remaster of a 2011 game. Yes, we get it, Shadow. Also, that movie we just saw, I am the highlight of the movie. Even though the movie is called Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Who the hell cares what the movie is called? Sure, you, Tails, and Knuckles get your chance to shine in that movie, but I'm pretty much the star of the show. People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. Shadow, did you just quote John Wick? No shit, I did.
Oh, gee whiz. And I thought Sonic's language was bad. I kept telling him every 5 minutes to watch his language all throughout our time at Eggman's Interstellar Amusement Park. That and the Taco Bell censor sound effect.
Speaking of which, there's something we'd like to show you. Shadow, say the F word. Why? Just do it. Alright, you asked for it. Fuck!
Is this what you call an F counter?
Yes, Tails, that is an F word counter.
Okay, who the heck thought of that? Was it you, Wolf Boy?
No. When I had the Hedgehog twins review Shadow the Hedgehog the game this past summer, they introduced the F word counter because of how often I said damn in that game. And they brought it back during our review of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Good grief. What am I going to do with you guys? Besides, this sounds like a reference to the fail glove or the gas counter from a certain game show from another YouTuber I've been watching in my spare time. And by the looks of it, he's not gonna like it.
Not to mention that the Hedgehog twins were wearing their bathrobes that day, and they practically forced me to wear mine. We didn't force you. You gave in and brought it over. Just as we were about to get started, Sonic said to me that I wasn't wearing proper video game review attire. He was referring to my red bathrobe that Silver keeps using his fucking psychokinesis on!
Sheesh, Shadow, what is it with you and Silver hitting each other's guts?
He just gets on my nerves, even more so than Sonic. Way to throw me under the bus, Shadow. You better not be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 3 without me. We were going to invite you anyway, since you're the main star aside from Sonic, of course. Good, because I reviewed Shadow the Hedgehog with Sonic and Sonic this past summer. And I specifically said to them that they better not leave me out of the review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. We were never going to leave you out of it. Good, now let's get started before I lose my shit. Shadow has a point. Let's get started. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the third official entry in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trilogy. Ben Schwartz, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, and Idris Elba reprise their roles as Me, Tails, and Knuckles. And they have to face a new adversary, Shadow, played by Keanu Reeves. Some people were expecting Hayden Christensen to voice me according to rumors, but nope, it's Keanu Reeves, the main star of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Point Break, Speed, The Matrix, John Wick, and Toy Story 4.
Plus, I feel like the first Sonic movie teased us that Keanu was going to make an appearance in the SCU. That stands for Sonic Cinematic Universe. Kinda like the MCU, if you know what I mean.
And that time Keanu Reeves did that awful British accent in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I get it, Sonic! Bram Stoker's Dracula was Keanu Reeves' worst performance to date. If I attempted a British accent, I'd sound like Eugene the Scarlet Fox on meth.
Oh, you better not be saying that in front of Laurel or Eugene. Otherwise, you're gonna get knocked into next Tuesday, my friend.
It's like that line from Carrie Elwes in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Oh, geez, is it what I think it is? Unlike some other Keanu Reeves roles, I can speak with an English accent. Hello, Governor. Shall we head over to my flat for a spot of tea and biscuits while watching Doctor Who on the telly?
And now my ears have gone completely numb.
Shadow, do us a kind favor and never attempt an English accent again. Top of the morning, laddies. Shall we go down to the pub in downtown Dublin for a pint of Guinness? Shadow, stop! You can't do accents for shit! G'day, mates. I was just at Outback Steakhouse sharing a bloomin' onion with Hugh Jackman. It sure is a lovely day for shrimps on the barbie in good old Sydney, ain't it?
I don't know what's worse. Nails on a chalkboard or Shadow attempting foreign languages.
Okay, I'm finished. Good, because I don't know how much more I can take. If you think Shadow doing accents is bad, just listen to him try to attempt whistling. Don't push it, Sonic. Not only are Ben Schwartz, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, and Idris Elba back, but also James Marsden as Tom, Tika Sumpter as Maddie, Lee Majdoub as Agent Stone, Natasha Rothwell as Maddie's sister Rachel, Shamar Moore as Gun Agent Randall, and let's not forget Jim Carrey as not only Eggman, but also Professor Gerald Robotnik. And then we have Elila Brown as Maria. None of you dare sing that song from West Side Story where Tony has the hots for Maria.
I wasn't going to. And besides, I don't know West Side Story all that well. Sonic and Sonic, on the other hand...
I got my eyes on you two! Whistling it is worse! Zowie. Also joining the cast is Kristen Ritter as Director Rothwell of God, best known for her portrayal of Jessica Jones and Jane from Breaking Bad. I'm not gonna lie, when Kristen Ritter was cast in this movie, it was a huge curveball. I was not expecting her of all people to appear in a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I felt the same way with Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves.
And now we've pretty much concluded our introduction. Next thing you know, we have the infamous entrance of Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik coming in to interrupt our review in 3, 2, 1.
Surprise, bitch!
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. No surprise, there was no clip of Chris Evans losing his mind about Ryan Reynolds holding Captain America's shield.
Doctor, in the saggy flesh. Don't ever say in the saggy flesh again. Anyway, Eggman, what the fuck do you want?
Language, Sonic.
Sorry, Tails. What business dost thou have in our presence, thou roguish, beetle-headed maltworm? The more you try to perform Shakespeare to insult me, the closer my ears are to bleeding. If you think that's bad, wait until you hear Shadow attempt a British accent.
No!
What the bloody hell are you lot looking at me for? I'm Shadow the Bloody Hedgehog, the ultimate life form. I don't take rubbish from no one. Now go and get me a spot of Earl Grey, some biscuits, and your finest bangers and mash so we can watch the entirety of 40 Towers in my London flat. Oh, what is wrong with you, Shadow? You can't do a British accent for shit! Don't ask me. The Hedgehog twins forced me to speak with an English accent.
If you ever want to learn to speak in a British accent, just talk with Eugene.
Also, what happened to Tails? One moment, he's whirring like your average South Park character, and the next, he's telling Sonic to watch his language.
Well then, Eggs Benedict Arnold, let's sit around the campfire and sing our campfire song. Oh wait, that's a reference to SpongeBob SquarePants. Let me start that again. Let me tell you a tale as to why I switched voice actors. That's because when I was voiced by a certain wolf boy on Helium, I was dubbed Miles Potty Mouth Power. I swore non-stop. But now that I have a game-accurate voice, I realize that using vulgar language is bad. And since then, I've been using vulgar language a whole lot less. There's your story for the night, ladies and gentlemen. How do you rate it? 5 out of 5 stars?
Thank the Lord, because I don't know how much more of that bullshit I would have taken.
Well, I mean, I still seen a whole bunch of R-rated movies with Sonic, and Calvin, like Deadpool and Wolverine, the second Joker movie, Kraven the Hunter, Everything Elsewhere All at Once, Oppenheimer, and even Gladiator 2. Heck, I even went to see Aliens Romulus. I thought I'd be scared to pieces, given that the aliens burst out of humans' chests, but Sonic and Sonic showed me the original alien for the first time this past summer.
And Sonic's alarm in the morning is the alarm that goes off when Ripley activates the self-destruct sequence. Yeah, I can confirm that is true. Danger. The emergency destruct system is now activated. The ship will detonate in T-minus 10 minutes. The option to override automatic detonation expires in T-minus 5 minutes. Yes, David, that one. Are you fucking serious, Tails?
Why, yes, Dr. Baldy McNose here. I am serious.
Anyway, Doctor, what do you want with us? I was wondering if you guys would like to have me join you in reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Not a fucking chance. And besides, don't you have a showing of Mufasa the Lion King to go to in a few minutes? What was Disney thinking? Pitting one of their live-action prequels against the juggernaut of video game movies? Let alone a movie starring not one, but 2 Jim Carreys. 2 Jim Carreys, Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba, and the one and only Keanu Reeves. Do you really think Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is ever going to be bested by Mufasa the Lion King? The answer should be obvious. I mean, yes, we've got instances where 2 competing movies each made millions, with the most infamous pairing of all being Barbie and Oppenheimer. And let's also not forget Wicked and Gladiator 2. That too, Calvin. But in what parallel universe would Mufasa the Lion King beat Sonic the Hedgehog 3 at the box office? Disney was practically shooting themselves in the foot by releasing one of their so-called live-action remakes against Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What Shadow means is that unlike with Barbie and Oppenheimer, the box office competition between Mufasa the Lion King and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is no contest. Whatever! Since we're really crushed on time here and we really need to get started soon, I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off this property before I pop your guts full of, well, you know. What in the hell are you talking about, Sonic? My ultrasonic taser that raises the pitch of the target's voice makes them projectile vomit and have explosive bowel movements. It means diarrhea, Shadow. I know what bowel movements mean, Sonic. Not if I can help it! Hey! We're coming up to 10 years since I hid that camera in the parking lot of AMC Theaters at Station Square. And Sonic and Sonic were reviewing Pixels with Adam Sandler. If any of you shit goblins recall, the final scene in Pixels involved the voice of Olaf from Frozen getting hitched with a fictional video game protagonist. They have children that look like Qbert. And Sonic was questioning if a human mother gave birth to Qbert like babies. And the thought became so disturbing to him that he just threw up in front of the movie theater. Eggman, stop!
Seriously, Eggman? What's the matter with you? Hiding a camera in a tree and filming someone throwing up and uploading it to YouTube? Didn't you get any emails explaining about what kind of content is not allowed on YouTube? Filming someone vomiting could get you into serious trouble, man.
When Sonic threw up in 2015, it was way before Studiopolis Cinemas first opened its doors. And now that we're at Studiopolis Cinemas, I want to recreate that unforgettable memory and upload it not only to YouTube, but TikTok as well. But the question is, who do I use this nifty little taser on? If we try to attack him, he'll tase us and we'll be puking our guts out and soiling ourselves. Since Sonic is the smart one out of the lot of you, he'll be the first victim. Take one deep breath, Sonic, because the next time you speak, you'll notice something off about your voice. In 5, 4, 3, 2...
Why don't you leave him alone, Baldy McNose here of Dimension 76?
Or else you'll be asking for it.
No, 23 Sonic!
No surprise to see that Eggman is here, interrupting your movie review once again, as always, because something told me that something was going on with you guys, so we had to step in and stop before bad things happen.
Because any friend of the superstars is a friend of ours. What do you have planned this time, Dr. Jim Carrey?
I was just about to tase one of you to the point of vomiting and shitting yourselves!
I'm sorry, say what?
Who invented something like that?
That would be me. I use it to make Eggman an embarrassment whenever he tries to interrupt our movie reviews.
So, you're telling me that you made a taser that makes someone sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks and then afterwards, they make hot fudge sundaes with all puking their brains out? Dude, that's freaking awesome!
I wouldn't be high-fiving Sonic if I were you, because that wouldn't be awesome if that were to happen to one of us. Now, I'm going to ask you this one time only. Kindly return that taser to its rightful owner, or else you're going to face the consequences.
Not if I can help it! Everyone, watch out!
We warned him.
Yeah, and now he's gonna have to face the consequences.
Time to show this egg omelet not to mess with Team Superstars!
Nice try, Sonic McFly, but you miss! Now, where was I? Oh, right. Give you guys a taste of your own medicine! What the? Where's the taser?
Oh, I don't know. Looking for this? Let this be a valuable lesson for you, Eggs Benedict Arnold. First and foremost, the Hedgehog twins will never let you join in on their reviews. Not in a million years. Second, you shouldn't take something that doesn't rightfully belong to you. That's considered stealing. Finally, you're going to realize that if you mess with friends from Team Superstars, you're going to feel the pain. 76 Shadow, would you do the honors?
With pleasure.
Damn you, 23 nerds and that team you call stupid spokes! You haven't heard the last of Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik! Oh no, not again!
Laurel, 23 Sonic, you might want to look away and cover your ears for this one.
He's not actually going to vomit and soil himself, is he?
Yep, he's gonna vomit and soil himself, Sonic, so we better look away in 3, 2, 1...
Hit the deck!
I honestly can't tell if I want to laugh at this or be disgusted. Is there an option where I can vote for both?
Just wait, it gets better!
You know, I sometimes question Sean's sanity on where he comes up with these ideas of someone crapping their pants. And this one takes the cake here.
That, my fine cat girl, is classified information.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyways, it looks like you guys are about to review Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
That's right. Would you guys like to join us?
We would, but technically we're just about ready to go see Sonic 3 with Flurry, Scorch, Fennec, and the other members of the Superstars team.
Maybe we could join you if they decide to release Sonic 4.
Once again, the Hedgehog twins have the drop on me when it comes to that damn gadget! Exactly. So you better think twice before you decide to interrupt us again.
And besides, Dr. Egghead, don't you have a showing of Mufasa the Lion King to go to?
Well, I am seeing a movie in 5 minutes, and it's not Mufasa the Lion King. It's actually Sonic the Hedgehog 3. But first, I need to go home and change my pants. I hope you're happy, ass pixies! I'm out of here! Is this what you guys usually put up with when it comes to reviewing movies here? Yep. Welcome to Sonic and Sonic movie review, Shadow.
We should get going. Our viewing of Sonic 3 starts in 5 minutes.
I'm honestly surprised Eugene hasn't called asking where we are. Well, we're gonna head out, guys. Enjoy reviewing Sonic 3.
Catch you guys on the flip side! Woohoo!
Okay. Now that shenanigans is out of the way, let's get started before Shadow becomes Mr. Grumpy Pants.
Grumpy is an understatement, Tails. More like pissed off beyond all fucking recognition. All introductions and interruptions aside, here's our thoughts on the latest silver screen outing for Sonic's twin brother. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The movie starts off on Prison Island, which for some reason is located off the coast of Tokyo, Japan. Sonic Adventure 2 does not specify where on this planet Prison Island is located. It's somewhere in the middle of the ocean. Thank you, Captain Obvious. You should know, the asshole who murdered Charleston Gemmer escaped from there and plotted to resurrect Methodist the Doc, remember? But Scourge is back behind bars where he will never escape again. All I know is that in Dimension 76, Prison Island isn't actually located off the coast of Tokyo. You really think Scourge will swim all the way from Tokyo to Soliana in under 24 hours? And besides, if one were to take a plane from Tokyo to Soliana, the flight itself would be 11 hours without layovers. I looked it up.
Why were you looking up flights between Tokyo and Soliana?
No reason. Maybe you're planning your honeymoon with Aurora.
Oh, busted.
What now? What the fuck, Shadow? It's kind of obvious at this point, Sonic. You being madly in love with her and wanting to be her evil exes to a pulp like Scott Pilgrim.
He's not wrong, you know.
I will give this movie credit. They got my backstory down pretty damn good. I mean, most of it is accurate, except that I was not raised on the space colony Ark, and Black Doom had no part in bringing me to life. I just came crashing down in a meteorite in Oklahoma, and I was being studied by Gun. Plus, the year was 1974 when I crashed down on Earth. As to how I woke up 50 years later, I was put in suspended animation. So you were actually alive in 1974, and you woke up 50 years later? Who are you? The Avatar? Don't push it, Sonic. And that also doesn't make me Captain America either. So if you were alive in 1974 and spending time with Maria at a gun base, did you actually see Roger Moore play James Bond on the big screen? Do I look like I'm into the same movies as you, Sonic? No. And besides, I wasn't allowed to leave the gun base. So stop asking me if I've seen certain movies at the theater when they first came out in the 70s and the 80s. And I did not come face to face with Richard Nixon or Gerald Ford either. Shadow then wakes up after getting flashes of his tragic backstory, and how Maria died at the hands of those who wanted to take him away. And a snippet of Maria playing Live and Learn on an acoustic guitar. All of Prison Island's security system is hacked, presumably by Professor Gerald, thus releasing Shadow from his containment and laying waste to every gun agent on the island. And so, he picks them off one by one, until he books it all the way to Tokyo on his air shoes. That right there goes to show that this isn't your ordinary Sonic movie. It's a fucking Shadow movie.
Bruh, do we really need to add the F word counter?
Blame the Hedgehog twins! Meanwhile, in good old Green Hills, Montana, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are getting ready to race through the woods, all while Sonic shows up as if he was tubing. And this supposedly takes place a good while after Knuckles gets home from Reno, Nevada in the Knuckles Paramount Plus series. There is not a single reference to the Knuckles series at all throughout this entire movie. I mean, yes, it was released earlier this year to bridge the gap between the second and third movies. It was mostly a standalone adventure involving Knuckles getting himself into some crazy shenanigans. People were expecting a direct connection to the third movie. Nope, that's not the case at all. It was mostly about Wade wanting to go to Reno, Nevada to compete in a bowling championship against his estranged father, who happened to be in cahoots with Rory McCann playing a random sunbish, who supposedly worked for Jim Carrey in the past, yet they made no mention of him anywhere. Exactly! How in the hell did Rory McCann know about Knuckles to begin with? Was he ever in contact with Jim Carrey between the second and third movies? And also the two rogue gun agents Scott Muscati and Ellie Taylor. And where was Tom between the second and third movies? And why was Maddie left looking after Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles?
The only connections to the Knuckles series that I found in this movie were Knuckles referring to Wade as a warrior, and when we were watching Casper the Friendly Ghost for movie night. In the first episode of Knuckles, the Wachowskis' living room was being repaired after Knuckles punched a hole through the TV during his first fight with Sonic. Not to mention Knuckles having the flames around his fist, as they call it, the flames of disaster. And that's it. Sorry if I triggered any flashbacks or PTSD trigger points there, Sonic.
Just like how the Marvels didn't acknowledge the events of Secret Invasion, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 did not acknowledge the events of the Knuckles series. So I guess you can easily skip the Knuckles series before watching this movie and not miss a damn thing.
You might be right there, Sonic. But there we were, having the epic race through the woods. while I distracted Sonic with holograms of myself and Knuckles, tapping our feet. Kind of like when players don't want to move us through this stage in the original Sonic games. And then we hear the iconic stage clear music from most Sonic games, and it goes like this. Yeah.
Keep your eyes and ears peeled for Easter eggs all throughout the movie. Every time we came across one, David will point to the screen and be like, "Ha ha, they did it!" I can confirm that. And it looks like the Wachowskis are hosting a surprise party for Sonic and the likes of Sonic Generations. Except it wasn't my birthday in that scene, or Sonic's for that matter. It was to celebrate the anniversary of my arrival on Earth. They didn't give a particular date, but I would assume it's June 23rd, which would make sense given the fact that it's practically summertime in Green Hills during the events of this movie. But I have a question. Were they celebrating the day of Sonic's actual arrival on Earth after Longclaw sent him there after being shot down by the Echidna tribe? Or the day where Tom shot Sonic with a tranquilizer dart to the point where he dropped his bag of rings in San Francisco? I would assume it's when Longclaw sent me to Earth and I lived in the cave for 10 years.
Speaking of which, Sonic brings Tom to the cave where he lived prior to moving in with Tom, Maddie, and Ozzy, at which it is unfortunately not 76 Knothole Drive. Also, I laughed so hard when Ozzy barked in translation saying, "You stole my humans!" And we get a heart-to-heart conversation between Sonic and Tom. Or should I say, lung to lung? Because Sonic thought Tom was pointing to his lungs and not his heart.
I definitely know my anatomy. I guess I got lost in the moment. But despite the loss I went through with Longclaw, it didn't change who I was in my heart. Same with me when I lost Charles and Gemma. But with me, it's an entirely different story. All I wanted was revenge, and I didn't give a fuck who got hurt.
There we are, sitting by the campfire, roasting marshmallows, when a GUN helicopter shows up, where Director Rockwell finds us and recruits us for a top-secret mission.
Director Rockwell is kind of a bitch. She refers to us as aliens, she turns on us after the attack on the Chao Garden, and she's just not a nice person. But hey, at least she's not an alcoholic private investigator with superpowers who goes by the name Jessica Jones. Then we would have been fucked. And of course, the fastest way to get from Green Hills to Tokyo without having to stop for gas is using one of the ring portals. And there, they see Shadow laying waste in Shibuya Crossing.
You sure know your Japanese geography there, Calvin. I know a certain dragon cat girl and sister would be squealing right about now.
I watch a lot of anime, and I play a lot of JRPGs. Plus, I've been learning Japanese.
Even though during the events of Sonic Forces, Calvin's Japanese singing definitely needs some improvement.
Are you serious, Tails?
What? Someone had to say it.
And there is one cheeky callback to Sonic Adventure 2 that got the entire auditorium laughing their asses off. Talk about low-budget flights. No food or movies. I'm out of here. I like running better.
However, it is worded different, as it wasn't just you jumping out of the helicopter. Knuckles and I were joining in on the fun. And the saying now goes, talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies, we're out of here.
Except that you didn't snowboard your way down a city street or get chased by a gun truck. And my first ever introduction to Sonic was, "You're a colorful bunch," and not, "It all starts with this, a jewel containing the ultimate power." Yeah, I jumped out of a gun helicopter and into the heart of Shibuya Crossing. And instead of calling him a faker, I called him New Hedgehog and asked why he looked like me. And he said, "I don't look like you. You look like me. Why do you look like me?" Everyone on this planet knows that Sonic and I are two different characters. I don't have green eyes. I don't have an identical twin brother who talks like Sean Connery. I don't have a blue bathrobe. I was never tortured with a poison dagger. I didn't get sent to the hospital wearing a fucking oxygen mask. I didn't meet pop culture icons as Lego versions of themselves. And I was not tortured by the Dark Brotherhood of Solaris. I had to save your asses when Scourge was about to execute you. And I watched Tails forge the Golden Eagle blade. And I was not imprisoned on the Death Egg for 6 fucking months.
Alright there, Shadow. I think we get the point here.
My point is that even though I kinda look like Sonic, that doesn't mean that Sonic and I are the same. We get it, Shadow. And one minor difference with this version of Shadow is that he doesn't use Chaos Control. That requires a Chaos Emerald. But when he teleports, he just uses his natural abilities because he harnesses intense amounts of chaos energy. At least that's what they refer to it as. Yes, I turn into Super Shadow in the film's climax, but in order for Sonic and I to become Super Sonic and Super Shadow, we would need the entire Master Emerald, because all 7 Chaos Emeralds or house inside the Master Emerald, when in the games, that's not the case at all.
I also brought over some of my own gadgets and gizmos to help apprehend Shadow, like special handcuffs that can't be broken no matter what you do to try to escape from it. After Shadow gets away, Sonic ends up getting caught in one of my handcuffs, and he has trouble getting out of there.
Oh, trust me. The only way you can get out of those handcuffs is if you saw your fucking hand clean off.
Sonic, quick question. Are you trying to make the viewers uncomfortable here?
No, but for the record, that's basically what happens in the movie 127 Hours.
Yes, I've seen my fair share of R-rated movies with you guys, but there are some I just refuse to watch, and Aliens is one of them.
Alright, so anyway, Knuckles tries to attack Shadow, but Shadow practically breaks his hand and takes everyone out at once. And then, he just takes the gun motorcycle and takes off.
It was fun while it lasted, but now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go play a children's card game. I'm gonna take cars.
Card games on motorcycles? Are you fucking serious, Tails?
Hey, I got that from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Please don't kill me.
Playing a card game on a motorcycle makes about as much sense as playing basketball on a pogo stick. Also, I hold a gun in the ensuing chase sequence. A gun that I only use for emergencies. Really, Shadow? You had to throw me under the bus saying I only use this gun for emergencies? Why, yes, Sonic. Yes, I did. You know Sonic and I hardly use guns anymore. And besides, Sonic has the Golden Eagle Blade Mark II. Exactly. I haven't found the proper use for a gun anymore. I mean, I still have guns on my weapons rack in my lab, but I hardly have a use for them anymore.
Good to know.
And so, we get an exciting chase sequence where Sonic goes after Shadow, and Shadow shows off his unearthly abilities while doing the iconic Akira slide with a motorcycle. A lot of movies and TV shows feature characters doing a badass slide with a motorcycle. And since the game Shadow the Hedgehog had me riding a motorcycle and holding a gun, the crew behind Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was like, fuck it, and had me do the Akira slide. The animator in me geeked out when I saw Shadow pull off the Akira bike slide, because you all know me and how much I love anime. Well, that is a known fact about you, Calvin. And then, Shadow escapes and I find myself cuffed to a pipe after randomly saying 1.21 gigawatts, as if I hadn't met Lego versions of Doc Brown and Marty McFly, and played American Idiot on Marty's guitar. Funny enough, in a couple episodes of the Knuckles series, Christopher Lloyd does the voice of Chief Patrick. That's funny, given the fact that Keanu Reeves is casting a Shadow as foreshadowed in the first movie when Sonic was watching Speed.
As soon as Knuckles and I catch up with Sonic, we hide out at a Chao Garden. No, not like the one from Sonic Adventure 2 that people keep sending angry letters to Sega to bring them back for the next Sonic game. Sega, if you're watching this, you better bring it back, please. The Chao Garden in this movie is a restaurant where the mascots are Chao. You know, Cream was watching the movie with us, and she had several questions, especially when Cheese was on the stage singing a Jackson 5 song in Japanese. And yes, people, if anyone was asking, that was Cheese on stage.
What other Chao on this block wears a red bow tie?
I can't think of any other Chows that wear a special red bow tie. But yes, that was in fact Cream's loyal Chow, Cheese. Well, a nice Easter egg, Cream just had so much trouble comprehending the whole idea of turning a Chao Garden into a restaurant in Tokyo. But it only gets worse from here.
Are you Detective Pikachu? Ha ha ha! He does look like a Pokemon! Pika Pika!
Alright, first off, I am a two-tailed fox, thank you very much, not a Pokemon. I think she got me confused with Detective Pikachu and because I was a detective for a Sonic Steam game for an April Fool's joke called The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. But that's about it. Also, Pikachu is an electric type Pokemon. Me, I would be considered a flying type. Flying types are weak to electric types. I would be KO'd by Pikachu or Raichu's Thunderbolt or Thunder Punch. Finally, I am not voiced by Ryan Reynolds. Do you see me cursing anymore in these types of videos? Absolutely not. If the Wolf Boy were, for some reason, voice me again, then maybe. However, this voice actress is not going anywhere. Now that I got that out of the way, sorry, that really bugged me since seeing the second trailer for this movie.
While we're chilling at the Chao Garden laying low, we meet up with Commander Walters, leader of Gun. He's the one who gave Tom and Maddie a $50 Olive Garden gift card, and the one who fucked up the wedding in Hawaii with Operation Catfish. I think they wanted to have this scene take place at a Chao Garden and not an Olive Garden to avoid unnecessary product placement and such. Here we get a glimpse at Shadow's tragic backstory that everyone should know by now. And like I said, instead of the space colony Ark, I'm being kept at a gun base in Oklahoma after crashing down in a meteor. I think they confused my backstory with Superman and the symbiote from Spider-Man 3. I was created and raised in a space station. I didn't come down to Earth for the first time until I stole the emerald, and Sonic was framed for the shit I did, all because they thought I was Sonic. Really, Shadow? You just had to rub it in my face with the day we met for the first time? Well, for the record, Sonic X Season 2 adapted Sonic Adventure 2 with one story arc, and they had to insert that shithead Chris Thorndyke into the mix when he wasn't in the original game to begin with. Call Chris a shithead one more time. I dare you! I double dare you! Okay, guys, that's enough!
Okay, girls, we get it. You both are pretty. You can kiss later. And no, I am not a Sonado fan. I am not considered gay.
Sonic X mostly got my backstory accurate to the game, as did Sonic the Hedgehog 3, except for a few changes, particularly the fact that there was no space colony Ark, and Black Doom didn't show his ugly fucking face in this movie. Who's Black Doom again? You don't want to know, Calvin. You don't want to fucking know. Picture Memphis the dark, but wish. That's one way to put it, Sonic.
You know, I loved how this movie portrayed Shadow's friendship with Maria. With Maria entering the NGUN base on roller skates, running into young Commander Walters, and seeing Shadow in his glass cylinder and drawing a silly face on it. And them doing a bunch of cute and adorable things together while in the song End of the Line by Traveling Wilburys playing in the background.
We ran around the gun base, we danced, we made a mess of the place, and we even watched a movie in a room on an old TV. And it was a monster movie. And if you look very closely at that TV screen, you can see the Bio-Lizard from Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow Generations. And it made me question if I really was a monster, that's why I couldn't leave the gun base. And since Shadow doesn't utilize the Chaos Emeralds to use his abilities in this movie, it's implied that he possesses Chaos Energy that's off the charts and was deemed too dangerous. Hence why he took out the gun agents at the beginning of the movie with ease. Just then, Eggman attacked the Chao Garden, and Commander Walters is mortally wounded. Konnichiwa! As someone learning Japanese, and someone who sings a lot of anime openings in perfect Japanese, that scene just triggered me. That's like having Sonic and Aurora go on a date to Paris, and Eggman shows up, and Sonic says, Notre damn it! That's actually something I would say if Aurora and I took a trip to Paris.
Let's not forget all those times where Sonic and Sonic sometimes argue in foreign languages.
We hardly do that anymore, Tails. And besides, every time we speak a foreign language for 2 or more minutes straight, we get massive headaches. I can confirm that is true.
And for the love of chili cheese dogs, please don't do that right now, because if you did, then it'll be the second most cringe-worthy thing I've witnessed today, since Shadow doing a bad British accent. Shadow, don't even think about it. I've got my eyes on you.
I wasn't going to, even though an important scene takes place in London, home of Eugene the Scarlet Fox.
Hang on. We're gonna get to that scene in a few minutes. Just patience, please.
As the Egg drones mortally wound Commander Walters, he hands us a key card to keep it safe at all costs. This is one of 2 key cards that activates the Eclipse Cannon. So this movie doesn't feature the space colony Ark, but it does feature the Eclipse Cannon. I guess one thing must be sacrificed so that another important reference to Sonic Adventure 2 can make it into the movie. Just then, a mysterious biker shows up to disable the egg drones and takes off, and thus, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles have to follow them. But when Director Rockwell comes into the Chao Garden, she turns on Team Sonic after finding the keycard missing and Commander Walters dead, and thus she spends the rest of the movie as a total bitch. Then again, so was Jessica Jones. Director Rockwell is pretty much Jessica Jones without superpowers and without a serious drinking problem. Turns out that this mysterious biker is none other than Agent Stone, or as Knuckles referred to him as, the Goat Milker, because of his lattes with steamed Austrian goat milk. As we catch up with Agent Stone, we learn that the egg drones were not sent by Robotnik, or Stone, that he and Stone had been hiding out in a crab mech, while Eggman practically gained weight and just watched soap operas in his bathrobe eating burritos.
Oh, Eggman, you have hit a new low. gaining all that weight and playing belly bongos with your guy? Sheesh. Do you have any other lifelong goals after your plans have been foiled by Sonic and crew twice in a row?
When Eggman mentioned the fact that he was indeed wearing a bathrobe while gaining weight and eating so many unhealthy foods, I was half expecting him to do what Ben Stiller did at the end of Dodgeball, A True Underdog Story. Just play around with certain parts of his torso and sing, "My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard."
David, no! I do not want that image plant in my head, thank you very much.
I don't think anyone does, Tails. And besides, the doctor just doesn't look good in a bathrobe. At least we're on the same page when it comes to Eggman in a bathrobe. That's why I, Sonic the Hedgehog, look absolutely handsome in a bathrobe. And I, Sonic the Hedgehog, look like one handsome gentleman in a white bathrobe.
And I, Miles Tails Prower, look really good in a green bathrobe.
And let's also not forget my blue Sonic bathrobe that I wear every damn morning. What happened to your maroon robe, David? I still put it on every now and then. There's no way I'm donating it. Okay, because I've been seeing a lot of Instagram selfies of you in that blue robe. That's because unlike some middle-aged egg-shaped dipshits, there's plenty of guys who look damn good in robes. And one thing that Eggman is doing while practically becoming Thor from Avengers Endgame is watching Spanish soap operas starring Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso. And Shadow even took a liking to that same soap opera. Whatever you do, do not tell Silver that I've been watching soap operas! Why? Because Silver often judges me for having a soft spot for musicals and soap operas.
Huh, I never figured Shadow to be that kind of guy that likes musicals.
I do appreciate a good musical every now and then. However, when it comes to musical movies, I never sing along.
Sure. What about the time where everyone got out from seeing Wicked and you started singing Defying Gravity non-stop?
I wasn't singing. I was mouthing the lyrics while someone else was doing the actual singing. No, I'm pretty sure it was actually you singing. No one else on this block has a voice as low and raspy as yours. Okay, Sonic, you caught me red-handed. I actually was singing after getting out from seeing Wicked. Aha! I knew it!
Or you can be my voice actress singing, "Popular, you know you wanna be popular," when Wicked first came out on Thanksgiving because she only knew the song Popular from Wicked before the movie. Fun fact, by the way.
Ever since Silver and I sang What Is This Feeling back on April Fool's Day, my singing has definitely improved. And your whistling too. Don't push it, Wolf Boy. So then we asked Eggman for help because Stone claimed that the egg drones weren't sent by him, and they weren't responsible for Shadow escaping from Prison Island. We later learned that it's Eggman's grandfather Gerald who was responsible for releasing him.
And after Sonic gives Eggman one of his quills to lick because it's not a Sonic movie without Jim Carrey licking one of Sonic's quills and getting shocked by it, go figure. And then we get a scene where Agent Stone shaves Eggman's head and he's back to being good old Baldy McNosehair.
Everyone knows that Baldy McNosehair is a more clever insult than him calling me Dorkypine. Oh, I know a perfect way to address you next time I run into you. Don't you fucking dare. Oh, how about this? Next time Silver enters the room, I'll call him Pothead the Dorkypine.
You know Silver's not gonna like that.
That's the whole idea, Tails.
Then what have we gotten ourselves into?
Just then, we see me heading to the gun facility in Oklahoma where I was discovered, and I developed a close friendship with Maria. I still remember when she drew the bunny face of that tank I was kept in, and us doing a bunch of fun things around the gun facility, even going out into a field at night looking at the stars. In this movie, it's just us on Earth in the field looking at stars. But in my actual backstory, Maria and I did it while on the space colony Ark. You're really not happy with how they altered your backstory, are you? It's not that. I think those changes are good, and they fit in with the world of a live-action movie, Sonic. I'm just relieved that Black Doom had no part in bringing me to life, because Black Doom can go fuck himself!
Tell me, Potty Mouth the Edgelord, where did you learn to say those words? Or did you say them in front of Maria? Tell us the details.
No, Tails. I learned those words from Professor Gerald during my days in the space colony Ark. Meanwhile, Sonic learned those words from watching R-rated action movies, and Sonic followed suit. That is true, and so, everyone goes into the gun facility to see who sent the drones to attack the Chao Garden, as well as looking for clues about where Shadow comes from. And for some reason, Knuckles is afraid of ghosts.
Yeah, when Sonic, Knuckles, and I were watching Casper one night, Knuckles got so scared that he developed a fear of ghosts. Which is kind of weird because there was one time where Knuckles had to fight the King of the Ghosts in Sonic Adventure 2. No, I am not referring to King Boo from Luigi's Mansion. I'm talking about King Boom Boom. That's his name, by the way. I don't want anyone to start thinking it's that.
Knuckles gets scared easily by watching a family-friendly Halloween movie? Good God! I mean, it's Casper the Friendly Ghost. Casper is more of a comedy than a horror movie, yet Knuckles was still screaming his head off. That goes to show that Knuckles can't handle horror movies. If he gets scared easily by Casper the Friendly Ghost, then he's definitely not ready to see The Exorcist.
Absolutely not. I don't ever want to watch The Exorcist. It might be too far for me. Whoa.
There's a certain somebody out there who has seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time he sees it!
Okay, Beetlejuice I can handle, but The Exorcist? No thank you. I'm out of here. I like running better.
Of all the horror movies you had to mention, you immediately jumped to The Exorcist, and not other ones like Alien, The Shining, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Psycho, Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Conjuring, Evil Dead, or even Terrifier 3. I tricked Silver to see Terrifier 3 a while ago, and you should have seen his reaction!
Shadow, do you ever find yourself going too far when it comes to you and Silver hating each other's guts?
No, Tails has a point, Shadow. Tricking Silver to seeing Terrifier 3? What's the matter with you? And going back to Knuckles saying there's no such thing as a friendly ghost, I can confirm that because of Silver's favorite way to taunt me, the ghost of Shadow's bathrobe. Oh, give me a goddamn break!
Now that was definitely the highlight of that bathrobe party back in 2017. Silver using psychokinesis on your bathrobe. Gosh, I was laughing so hard. Ooh, I am the ghost of Shadow's bathrobe. Hear me, my owner can sing for shit.
Me too. It was unforgettable. What happened to you no longer being Miles Potty Mouth Prower? I did say he swears a whole lot less, but yes, that was definitely the highlight of the bathrobe party. I wasn't there in 2017, but we did have another party in the Golden Eagles base to celebrate our victory. And that's when I handed out medals to everyone. And I so want to host another one in the future, especially now that I have the blue Sonic robe. My point is that the Ghost of Shadow's bathrobe may come off as friendly, but he was definitely not being friendly. And so, Shadow takes the heroes out one by one, even scaring Knuckles by saying, boo. My favorite way to scare the shit out of Silver when he least expects it.
Stone and I were paired up looking around the base. He and I were talking about how Sonic and I are best friends. Same with him and Eggman. At first, he refuses to admit it, but towards the end, we see that Eggman really does care for Stone as a friend.
And then, we see the source of the egg drones being sent to the Chao Garden. It was actually Professor Gerald, alive and well, who activated the drones to lure his grandson, and they're both in disbelief upon seeing each other. It's as if we're two characters in a movie, being played by the same actor.
You want to know what else is funny? Seeing that two hedgehog twins are currently being voiced by the same person.
And let's also not forget Calvin, Silver, Eggman, and yours truly.
I'm gonna be real here, everybody. I'm glad that I have this voice now and not that awful 12-year-old potty mouth Prower voice. What was the creator of this channel thinking when he thought it was okay to do that kind of voice for me? I wonder, David.
I haven't the slightest clue, but he sounds like a real numbnut.
Oh, yeah, a numbnut with no shame. Besides, that numbnut is standing right here, and I still question why he turned down my voice actress proposal to voice me in 2017, because he said everyone liked that 12-year-old potty mouth Prower he's done for years. Wow, such a numbnut, if you know what I mean. Hint, hint, wink, wink. David, I'm looking at you. I'm still poking fun at you for that.
As to why the Doctor and Professor Gerald are both alive in the same timeline, it's because Professor Gerald was alive the whole time. Not a hologram, or cryosleep, or any of that nonsense. I was just about to say, because we never met Professor Gerald directly, only recordings from the days of Project Shadow, so I had several questions as to how Eggman and Professor Gerald were both in the same timeline. I thought it was some kind of wacky science bullshit that brought Professor Gerald to present day. Nope, He was alive the entire time and is pretty much 100 years old. You do know that the director of this movie, Jeff Fowler, actually worked on Shadow the Hedgehog the game. So I could imagine he wanted to make some changes to the story we all know and love in Sonic Adventure 2, such as how Professor Gerald was alive in 2024.
And so the two Robotniks come together while Shadow has us tied up. There's actually 2 key cards needed to activate the Eclipse Cannon, which is the movie's equivalent of the Death Star.
You mean the Death Egg?
I said the Death Star, Sonic. I don't think Paramount will ever in a million years bring the Death Egg into the movies, because Disney will definitely be filing a lawsuit for that.
The Eclipse Cannon is an orbital laser designed to target any location on Earth and destroy it, just like the actual Eclipse Cannon from Sonic Adventure 2. The Eclipse Cannon is hidden underneath Gun headquarters in London. That's where the second key card is. And so, I swipe the first key card from the heroes, and I activate a black hole destroying the base. But then, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles escape through one of their ring portals. And this is where the Robotniks have some virtual reality bonding time, like Halloween, Christmas, and go to a place called Eggman Land. The same one from Sonic Unleashed. All while Agent Stone feels like he's being left out. And then, Tails, Knuckles, and I head back over to Green Hills to recruit Tom and Maddie for a very important mission, with Tom wearing an ugly Christmas sweater that says Donut Lord on it.
And we also see Tom with some kind of puppet. Wow, I didn't know that Jeff Dunham was in this movie.
And we're all embarrassed by his new hobby of ventriloquy. Maybe James Marsden has been watching a lot of Jeff Dunham specials in his spare time between making movies. Who knows?
In the words of Ahmed, the dead terrorist, silence! And I'm not gonna say Akira. All Jeff Dunham jokes aside, we come up with a very important plan to head over to GUN headquarters in London to get the second key card before Shadow and the Robotniks use it to cause mass destruction with the Eclipse Cannon. Mass destruction? Don't you mean, oh yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, baby, baby, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And it'll be a difficult mission too because of all the security systems taken straight out of Mission Impossible, and me getting fried by the force field. And so, we make it to London in a race to get the key card. While the Robotniks go in to get the key card from the vault that not even Sonic's rings can get into, I'm left with Stone while he makes guac for me and we watch soap operas. You mean revenge guac? Yes, that's exactly what I said. I do like guac, but me calling it revenge guac? That's a bit of a stretch right there. And while everyone's getting ready to infiltrate Gun headquarters, Sonic keeps reminding Knuckles about how he can only break glass in case of emergencies. Just like how Sonic only uses a gun for emergencies. Yes, Sonic, exactly like that.
And I even made a gadget that disguises people as another person, even copying their voice. That's how Tom and Maddie were able to disguise themselves as Rachel and Randall to get into the base to install a drive that allowed me to hack into the defenses and shut down the lasers guarding the key card.
Rachel and Randall got their own character posters for this movie, and they even credit Natasha Rothwell and Shamar Moore in this movie, even though it's actually Tom and Maddie in disguise. I wonder where the real Rachel and Randall are during this movie. Probably on their honeymoon, not wanting to bother with any of Sonic's shenanigans. Most likely, and we even get some cheeky British pop culture banter from Sonic as he's running through the streets of London. Even Sonic going to Abbey Road, recreating the iconic photo from the Beatles. And I even run through Buckingham Palace asking where Hogwarts is. It's like they knew how much of a big fan of Harry Potter I am in real life. Hey, remember when the series used to cross over with Harry Potter? I certainly don't, because those projects are no longer considered canon.
Even though we saw Harry Potter characters as Legos when we went through the Lego universe to stop Lord Vortek, remember?
That's the only Harry Potter crossover video that's considered canon, while everything else was lost in time like Tears and Rain. Probably for the best, because the Sonic and Sonic series works better when it's contained within its own universe and not unnecessarily crossing over with Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or any of that mumbo-jumbo.
Sonic was even dressed as the King of England with a cup of tea in his hand. It was like he was getting ready to sing You'll Be Back from Hamilton. Plus, King Sonic is a reference to what you wear on your birthday.
Hello there, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Would you care for a spot of tea and crumpets?
Shadow, you better want to start taking some notes because that is how you talk in a British accent. Way to go, Sonic. 10 out of 10.
Or have Eugene give you pointers on how to perfect a British accent. I get it, Sonic! You know, this isn't my first time in London. You mean with the whole Harry Potter Lego thing? No, Shadow, Tails, and I have been to London.
That's right, Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Duh! I forgot.
I don't think we're going to be getting any more Mario and Sonic Olympics Games titles after Tokyo 2020. Probably because we were banned from attending the Olympic Games after the Battle of the Closing Ceremonies in 2016. But we still went to Tokyo in 2020. Well, 2021, because of that fucking pandemic. There was gonna be a project based on that, but it got scrapped because the story mode was way too damn long, and it kept shifting between the 2020 games and the 1964 games. We did travel back in time to 1964 to show a video that's no longer canon. We went to a mall shop, and we went to a drive-in theater to see Mary Poppins. That's nice, Sonic, but we should get back to the movie. Right, sorry, Shadow.
When Tom and Maddie get inside GUN headquarters, they disguise themselves as Rachel and Randall with the special gadget I designed that allows the wearer to disguise themselves as anyone and even copy their voices. You know, that's one thing that the Polyjuice potion in Harry Potter gets wrong. They get the disguise thing down right, but the wearer keeps their voice. I mean, Ron and Harry drank the potion to disguise themselves as Crabbe and Goyle, and yet they still sound like themselves. Harry Potter, you gotta start taking some notes here.
And then there's Mystique from X-Men. She shapeshifts and even copies a person's voice.
It is not a movie adaptation of a 90s video game without a cheeky callback to someone blowing on the game cartridge in order for it to get it to work.
We certainly know that struggle with video game cartridges from the NES to the SNES to the Sega Genesis and even the Nintendo 64. When I was living with Charles and Gemma, they had a Nintendo 64 and I played GoldenEye on it all the time. And I had to occasionally blow onto the cartridge in order to play it. I even played GoldenEye with Jimmy and Lucas a few times. After Sonic and I reunited in 2011, and we went back to 76 Knot Drive following the events of Sonic Generations, one of the first things we did was hook up our N64 and play GoldenEye. And yes, we had to blow into that cartridge.
After Tom blows on the drive in order to get it to work, the energy shield is down, and Sonic is able to get in without being fried to smithereens. And then, Jim Carrey is doing a silly dance with himself while Eggman and Gerald are wearing suits that deflect the lasers. Talk about a cool laser show with dance-style moves. And trust me, it was kind of funny to watch.
I guess that's what brought Jim Carrey out of retirement. Him doing a silly dance to Galvanized by the Chemical Brothers with himself. That's definitely one of the highlights of the movie right there. That, and Gerald saying that he's in disbelief over the fact that there's a woman in the military. That's when Director Rockwell comes in and makes things even more complicated. There's a gravity system in which a green panel means there's no gravity and you just float around, and a red panel means you're pushed to the ground and can't move. This happens when I run into the room to try to grab the key card. And so, Knuckles breaks the glass in case of emergencies and glides into the room to save the day, unleashing the flames of disaster as seen in the final episode of Knuckles. But then, Director Rockwell gets away with the key card, but Tom, disguised as Commander Walters, successfully manages to get it back from her. But not until Shadow sees him and attacks him, because Shadow hates Gun with a burning fucking passion. After knocking him out cold, I get the key card and I give it to the robotics so they can carry out their master plan. Wanna know what seeing Tom knocked out cold reminded me of?
Is it what I think it is?
If it's the day where we found Sonic after him burning his medicine, you would be correct. You mean the day where I attempted to take my own life and I got sent to the hospital? Yeah. After that incident, I never attempted or even thought about suicide ever again.
Which reminds me, where the heck was Shadow when all of this happened?
Silver and I had to take care of something, and we were unaware of what was going on until Sonic sent us a text saying that Sonic was in the hospital after attempting suicide.
You know, instead of being the edgelord like you're classified, you could have visited him in the hospital and be there with him!
It's alright, Tails. I wasn't at the hospital either because I had things to take care of too.
In all honesty, I'm just relieved as heck that you're still around and pumping out cool gadgets, inventions, and Instagram bathrobe selfies.
Thanks. Wanna know what this scene reminded me of? Sonic at the hospital in Rio after Mephiles tortured him with a poison dagger? Is it because Tom was being taken into an ambulance wearing an oxygen mask? Yeah. Wanna know what would have pushed this movie towards a PG-13 rating? If I had to give Tom CPR, and I generate electricity, and my eyes turn blue like David's eyes, and I shout, "Clear!" and I use my electrical powers to start his heart again.
Now that you mention it, your electrical powers in the movies could be proven useful for whenever someone in Green Hills is suffering cardiac arrest.
I'd be a walking, talking defibrillator, but I don't know if they'd be brave enough to let me do that in Sonic the Hedgehog 4. But we'll just have to wait and see.
After Tom is sent to the hospital, Sonic goes rogue and leaves Knuckles and I behind, all because he wanted revenge.
I thought Tom was gonna die, and I was ready to murder Shadow because he went too fucking far. It was at this point where Sonic went rogue and abandoned Tails and Knuckles and was out for blood and vengeance. So I go from quipping my ass off calling Shadow Hot Topic to threatening to beat the shit out of Knuckles if he didn't tell me where the Master Emerald is so that I can turn it into Super Sonic and send Shadow back to the drawing board without giving any fucks who gets hurt in the process.
So, a blue hedgehog wanting revenge against another hedgehog for doing something that turned his world upside down and didn't want to listen to his friends and was on the path of revenge, and he didn't care who got hurt in the process. Gee, I wonder who that reminds me of. Seanic, sorry, you're caught red-handed.
What are you guys looking at me for? Tails has a point, Sonic. During the war against the Dark Brotherhood in 2018 and Scourge escaped from Prison Island, you desperately wanted to kill Scourge because of how he murdered Charles and Gemma. I tried reasoning with you saying that it's not the way, but you wouldn't listen. You kept going on about wanting to kill Scourge, and it was at that point that I was afraid you would be on a path of darkness forever. Yes, I wanted to kill Scourge. Yes, I wanted to destroy the Dark Brotherhood of Shalorish. They took away the one family I had after our mom died. But it was during that war that I knew that revenge is not the way. That's when I learned a valuable lesson about what being a hero truly means. It was the most important lesson I had ever learned. Charles and Gemma knew deep down that you would be the one to rise up against the Dark Brotherhood. You and Sonic both. They created the blueprints for the Golden Eagle Blade with you in mind. Anyone else would hold that sword, just wield it as a regular sword. But when you hold it, it glows blue. Why do you think I made the Golden Eagle Blade Mark II, after the original blade was buried with Gene's father after he died? Exactly. And just as I was about to put a bullet into Scourge's fucking head, that's when I learned that revenge was not the way. I spared his life, and I'm glad I did so, because had I just executed him on the spot, it would have sent me down a much darker path. I would have actually died after burning my medicine. Exactly. Want to know what this also reminded me of? Being so pissed at Knuckles, threatening to hurt him if he doesn't tell me where the Master Emerald is. What is it, Sonic? Me turning into Dark Sonic and choking Captain Ernst after she called me Ironic the Hedgehog. After she shot Tails at them all, you wanted revenge too. You were this close to choking her to death as Dark Sonic until I talked you out of it. But eventually, she got left behind at the base as it self-destructed.
Okay, let's we talk about that war the better, please. I don't want to have bad flashbacks of being shot in the stomach or having that awful 12-year-old voice screaming for his life. David, I'm still blaming you for that.
Zowie, I asked Knuckles repeatedly where the Master Emerald is being kept. I wanted to use his power to turn into Super Sonic and beat the shit out of Shadow. But Knuckles warned me that the Emerald's power should never be used for vengeance. But I gave absolutely zero fucks. I was even ready to fight Knuckles if he didn't tell me where it was being kept.
Man, that scene was so hard for me to watch. The Sonic that I know would never do anything that reckless. Unlike his brother during the whole war against the Dark Brotherhood of Solaris.
I heard that!
Sorry, you heard nothing!
Eventually, Knuckles gives in and tells me that it's being guarded by a legendary warrior. And you want to know who that is, my friends? It's our good friend Wade Whipple, bowling champion of Reno, Nevada. Here, he's using the Master Emerald as a hockey puck while playing hockey on the roof of a building back in Green Hills. And since it's the summer, he's using roller skates instead of ice skates. Maybe they should change his name from Wade Whipple to Wade Gretzky. Oh ha ha! Wayne Gretzky, the greatest ice hockey player in the world. Good one, Calvin. You really think so, Shadow? No, because practically every character voiced by McInerney76 is good at two things. One, coming up with bad puns in 5 seconds or less, and two, whistling. Guilty as charged!
So the only connection to the Knuckles series involving Wade is how Knuckles refers to him as a warrior, and how he had Wade guard the Master Emerald while he, myself, and Sonic were out saving the world. Not to mention the bowling tournament, or his sister who claims to be an FBI agent and just fails at it all. Ugh. Or that rock opera scene from the 4th episode where he spent the entire episode in his bathrobe and slippers.
One thing about the movies that I don't like is how it's the Master Emerald that turns us super, and that the 7 Chaos Emeralds are housed inside the Master Emerald. That's not what happens in the games, but who am I to complain? Knuckles trusting Wade to guard the Master Emerald. I wonder what he would think of Angel Island.
I don't think Wade will last 5 minutes on Angel Island, but he could surprise us.
And so I confront Wade, and I swipe the Master Emerald from him and turn into Super Sonic, and I go after Shadow for hurting Tom. With the 2 keycards in their possession, the Robotniks raise the Eclipse Cannon out of the River Thames and send it to space, But before that, Eggman practically ghosts Agent Stone, leaving him behind while he, Gerald, and Shadow carry out their plan. But in a shocking turn of events, Eggman turns on his grandfather after learning that he plans to exterminate all life. That's not part of Eggman's plan. He just wants to rule the world without any human casualties. But he and Shadow just want revenge on humanity and seek to destroy all life. We then cut to another flashback scene showing the death of Maria. It was an explosion that killed Maria, and Commander Walters tried to stop the gun agents from shooting me down. After watching her die, they captured me and put me in suspended animation for 50 years. But that didn't stop me from wanting revenge on humanity and not giving any fucks who gets hurt in the process. Just like how John Wick was out for blood after his dog was killed. Yes, David, exactly like that. I guess that's why Keanu Reeves was cast as me in this movie, and the result is just absolute perfect casting. There's a lot of parallels between me and John Wick. Not just the fact that we're both played by Keanu Reeves, but because we're both dangerous beings who will hurt anyone who gets in our way. I can totally see that. But that doesn't mean you guys should call me John Wick the Hedgehog. Silver kept teasing me with it, and it kept getting on my fucking nerves.
Okay, Shadow, that is nice, but I think we should be wrapping up pretty soon.
Sorry about that. And so, I fly into space as Supersonic, and I find Shadow, and I proceed to beat the shit out of him. And then, Shadow knocks the Chaos Emeralds out of me and becomes Super Shadow. The moment I turned into Super Shadow, the audience in the auditorium erupted into applause. And the next fight sequence that ensued between me and Supersonic was something taken straight out of Dragon Ball Z. I practically taunt Sonic about how reckless he was to abandon his friends and family to set out for revenge, but Sonic was ready to murder me. As I was about to finish Shadow off, he points to his chest saying, "You won, finish me off." But after remembering the lesson that Tom taught me at the beginning of the movie, I stopped and realized that it's not who I am, and that there are no winners with revenge. Something I learned the hard way after sparing Scourge's life after I destroyed the Scepter of Darkness with a Golden Eagle blade. Sonic decided to spare my life, and he taught me a valuable lesson saying that our losses should never define who we are. Such as when Sonic lost Longclaw, and me with Maria, and Sonic with his foster parents. Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me. Somehow sooner or later I knew that someone will quote Captain America's Civil War. Well, it's true, especially after the war against the Dark Brotherhood.
And so Sonic and Shadow put their differences aside and saved the world from being destroyed by the Eclipse Cannon. Meanwhile, with the Robotniks, Eggman turns on Gerald when he learns that Gerald is seeking to destroy humanity as revenge for Maria's death. That sounds kind of familiar to Shadow's story in Sonic Adventure 2. Eggman, on the other hand, just wants to conquer it without ending any human lives.
Oh yeah? Tell that to Sonic Forces!
You know what? I was just about ready to say that. People actually lost their lives during the events of Sonic Forces.
Yeah, and he imprisoned me on the fucking death egg for 6 fucking months!
Yeah. Let's not be reminded of that.
So Eggman and Gerald fight, with Gerald using nanotech to create a bunch of enhancements like a nano fist. Something that Eggman hadn't seen since he hate-watched Green Lantern in 2011. When Jim Carrey dissed Green Lantern, I laughed harder than I had ever laughed in my entire life. Mostly because of the fact that for the upcoming DC Comics collaboration with Sega, they decided to have Silver be Green Lantern, while they had me be Batman. So when he said that he hate-watched Green Lantern in 2011, it's like he was taking a jab at Silver. I don't think so, Shadow, because Green Lantern has always been a terrible movie. Even Ryan Reynolds himself was embarrassed to have been involved in the making of that movie. Please don't make the Super Shoot green, or animated.
You know, when I first saw Green Lantern with Sonic, I didn't mind. But when I saw it a second time, yeah, I've seen how bad that movie is. Worst mistake of my life.
At least Eggman and I can both agree that Green Lantern was a shitty movie. I thought, knowing his taste in movies, he'd love it to pieces like 2015's Fantastic Four, or Madam Web, or that fucking Borderlands movie. Don't get me started on 2015's Fantastic Four. That movie was so bad that we practically demanded a refund at gunpoint. It was at that point that we had ultimately given up on the Fantastic Four, and that they will never redeem themselves. But now, we're getting the Fantastic Four first steps. Eggman certainly has a questionable taste in movies. He agrees that Green Lantern was a shitty movie, but for some reason, his least favorite movie of all time is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Gee, Dr. Egg Omelet doesn't have good taste in movies because Monty Python and the Holy Grail is the funniest movie in the universe. But that could explain his absence in Sonic and the Black Knight.
Jim Carrey himself isn't even a fan of Monty Python, but not the Doctor for some reason? I don't get it either, Shadow! And so, the Doctor and Professor Gerald fight it out using their own technology at their disposal, such as the Doctor using praying mantis hands, and Professor Gerald turning into what I believe is a dollar store version of Dr. Octopus. Their fight was amusing to watch, seeing that it's Jim Carrey practically fighting himself. Now my question is, during that fight scene with the two Jim Carreys, did one of them have to use a stunt double to throw real punches and whatnot? I had the same question with Chris Evans fighting himself in Avengers Endgame. Your guess is as good as mine, David. You idiots! These are not them! You've captured their stunt doubles! Thanks for that unnecessary Spaceballs reference, Calvin! I also would appreciate the fact that during the final act of this movie, Jim Carrey actually wore a game-accurate costume the moment his head was shaved, and he took that fucking bathrobe off! And then, the absolute highlight of the movie. Sonic and Shadow turning into Super Sonic and Super Shadow, stopping the Eclipse Cannon from destroying the planet. All while we get the most iconic song in the history of gaming. Simple and clean? No, Calvin, that's Kingdom Hearts. One-Winged Angel? That's Final Fantasy VII. Last surprise?
Calvin, that's Persona 5. I get Last Surprise as an iconic video game song, but that's not what Sonic is referring to.
Megalovania? That's Undertale, Calvin. How many more times are you gonna keep incorrectly guessing the song that Sonic is referring to? Or perhaps the song that goes like this. Oh, for crying out loud! It's Live and Learn, damn it! Right, my bad, I knew that! Live and Learn, the most iconic Sonic the Hedgehog song ever created, was used during the movie's climax when Sonic and I take out Professor Gerald's robots that look similar to Omega, all while recreating an iconic pose featured in the opening cutscene of Sonic Adventure 2. This scene is practically taken straight out of Sonic Adventure 2, except that Sonic and I weren't fighting the Bio Lizard. We were trying to shut down the Eclipse Cannon before it caused any major damage.
And just as Professor Gerald is about to push Eggman to his death, Knuckles and I come in to save the day by using one of our portal rings, and together we obliterate Gerald and send him to the Shadow Realm!
Really, Tails? You had to say the Shadow Realm?
Well, Professor Gerald did create you, and technically so did I too. Which is weird because we don't get to see him in this movie. Plus, I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan myself, so I had to say it sooner or later.
Oh yeah? Like the card games on motorcycles? You're not doing it right, Shadow. Here's how you do it. I come here to play a children's card game. On motorcycles! Whatever! We realized that there's no way to shut down the Eclipse Cannon, so we redirected to where it's pissing on the moon. Are you fucking serious, Sonic? Yes, Shadow, I am fucking serious. None of you dare reference that awful Snapcube fan dub!
Oh, come on, I wasn't going to. And besides, remember, I'm not classified as potty mouth prower anymore.
But still, I got my eyes on you guys! I come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch-ass motherfucker. He pissed on my fucking wife. That's right. He took his hedgehog fucking willy dick out and he pissed on my fucking wife. And he said his dick was this big. And I said, that's disgusting. So I'm making a call-out post on my Twitter.com. Shadow the Hedgehog, you got a small dick. It's the size of this walnut, except way smaller. And guess what? Here's what my dong looks like. That's right, baby. All points, no quills, no pillows. Look at that. It looks like two balls in a bong. He fucked my wife. So guess what? I'm gonna fuck the earth. That's right. This is what you get. My super laser piss. Except I'm not gonna piss on the earth. I'm gonna go higher. I'm pissing on the moon! How do you like that, Obama? I pissed on the moon, you idiot! You have 23 hours before the piss droplets hit the fucking earth. Now get out of my fucking sight before I piss on you too. You literally just filled up the fuck counter to maximum capacity. I hope you're happy, Sonic. You hope I'm happy? You hope I'm happy now? You hope I'm happy how I hurt my cause forever? You hope I think I'm clever? Yeah, we get it. Wicked is one of the best movies of the year. Now let's get on with it before I send your ass flying over to Planet Wisp!
After redirecting the Eclipse Cannon away from Earth, Sonic begins to lose consciousness. And so, Knuckles and I have to get him to safety by gliding over to him and using our last ring to have us land safely in a cornfield. And I don't know if that cornfield is located in Kansas, because if it is, Sonic, Knuckles, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
The core for the Eclipse Cannon is about to melt down, and Shadow and Eggman sacrifice themselves to get it away from the Earth. All while Eggman broadcasts one final message to Agent Stone telling him that despite disregarding him in the first two movies, he has always seen Stone as a true friend, and that he'll miss his lattes with steamed Austrian goat milk, and that he loves the way he makes them.
Do I look like an imbecile? Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them! Or we can say it this way. You know what? That sounds like a freaking great idea! I had to change a word from that saying, and I think you all know which one.
I thought Tails doesn't drink coffee!
Actually, yes, I do. Particularly the seasonal drinks at Starbucks.
Calvin, did you literally just assume that Tails is not a coffee drinker based on his age alone? No. Because if you were, then you're asking for a bitch slap.
Well, Cream is more of a tea drinker than a coffee drinker, but yes, I do like my coffee.
So after making amends with Agent Stone, Eggman seemingly dies in the explosion. But seeing that he's the main antagonist in every single Sonic game, there is no way you can kill him. While his fate in the movies entirely depends on Jim Carrey's plan to retire from acting. And if this is Jim Carrey's final film role, then he put out one hell of an epilogue. And then, I push the Eclipse Cannon away from the Earth as it blows up. Just like my ultimate sacrifice at the end of Sonic Adventure 2, before Fan Demand resurrected me from the dead for Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, and the third season of Sonic X. You can't kill off the ultimate life form and expect him to stay dead. You're goddamn right. I make up with Tails and Knuckles for going rogue earlier. Then we head back over to Green Hills, where Tom is out of the hospital and is wearing a cast on his arm. And so, Tails, Knuckles, and I have another race through the mountains, and that's the end of the movie. Or so I thought. Aren't you glad that the auditorium doors at Studio Play Cinema say sign saying that there's a certain number of end credit scenes to a certain movie? Yeah, because some dipshits leave the theater just as the credits are rolling, and they miss all the good stuff.
And of course, no one left the auditorium during the credits for this movie. And I gotta say, it was the loudest applause we gotten since Shadow's reveal at the end of Sonic Movie 2.
So anyway, as I was racing through the woods, I lose sight of Tails and Knuckles, and I find myself in a New York State park, when all of a sudden, Metal Sonic appears. When Metal Sonic appeared, the whole theater gasped, screamed, and cheered. The same amount of energy as opening night for Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Deadpool and Wolverine combined. But yes, Metal Sonic is here. He found me in New York for some reason, and was able to track me down to try to obliterate me. I then take him out with these, until more Metal Sonics show up getting ready to corner me. And when all is lost, and I have nowhere to run, in comes...
Me, Amy Rose, fortune card reader, wielder of the mighty Pickle Pickle Hammer, and the love of Sonic's life. When I threw my hammer around and took out the Metal Sonics, and I removed my hood, the entire theater burst into screams and cheers. Even the auditorium playing Mufasa the Lion King could hear it.
Amy!
So in the first movie, Tails appears in the mid-credit scene to look for Sonic. In the second movie, Shadow appeared after the battle against the Death Egg robot. And now, it's not only Metal Sonic, but me as well.
Well, all I can say is welcome to the SCU, Amy.
Thanks, Tails.
I'm really happy for you, Amy. Now you get to join Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba, and the rest of the Sonic movie cast.
Now, I wonder who's going to be voicing me in Sonic the Hedgehog 4. It better be someone good.
There's a lot of actresses out there who'd be perfect for providing your voice.
Like Zendaya, or Haley Steinfeld, or Anna Kendrick, or Florence Pugh, or Jennifer Lawrence, or Anya Taylor-Joy.
It's too early to tell. I don't know about Anya Taylor-Joy, though, because she voices Princess Peach in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. All those actresses you listed would be perfect candidates for voicing Silver.
Really, Shadow? Do you want to be bopped in the head with this hammer?
No.
I didn't think so. Anyway, I was wondering if you and Sonic would like to join Aurora and I for a stroll through the city to look at Christmas lights.
We'd love to. We don't really have a whole lot of stuff planned for later in the evening.
Yes!
Well, we can't leave Jean out of this. No, definitely not.
Perfect! A triple date looking at Christmas lights in the city. Calvin and Tails, you're invited as well. You're welcome to join us too if you like, Shadow.
Don't mind if I do. Just as long as Silver stays home. Shadow, will you zip it with this whole bullshit between you and Silver? My apologies. We'll catch up with you in a bit, Amy. We're just about to wrap up here.
I know we're standing in the parking lot of Studiopolis Cinema, and we're standing directly underneath the lamppost. I see something I've noticed up there that I've never noticed before until now.
And what would that be, Amy?
Mistletoe!
Huh, that's funny. I don't see any mistletoe.
Come here, silly.
And now, after seeing Sonic and Amy kissing underneath the mistletoe, all the people out there who ship him with Sally Acorn can kindly fuck right off and see that Sonic chose Amy to be his one true love.
Are you for real, Shadow?
You heard nothing, I swear.
Hold up. Did Shadow just whistle?
Yeah, Amy, you heard that right. Shadow just whistled.
Blame Sonic! Well, Silver, really. But I reluctantly agreed to learn how to whistle from Silver after hearing Sonic and Sonic whistle songs whenever they walk past me.
But the Battle of the Closing Ceremonies! When we were all whistling the four-note Hunger Games song, you said you couldn't whistle. You lied to us this whole time?
That was before Silver gave me whistling lessons. And just to be clear, I'm still not a Hunger Games fan. What about when you and Silver got out from seeing the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes last November? That's because Silver forced me to see the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes with him. Aurora and I already made plans in Washington and Bonjaneba to pick up our copies of Sunrise on the Reaping. Wait, they're making another Hunger Games book?
Yes. Don't you ever follow the news?
I guess, but I don't think I go out of my way to race to the nearest bookstore and binge read an entire 400-page book in one weekend. Clearly you've never taken a single high school English class. Because high school English class is the definition of binge reading an entire book in one weekend. Shannon needs to go ahead and read books. I have other ways to keep me entertained whenever I'm not sent on an important mission. Mostly gaming, binge watching Netflix, and telling Silver to go fuck a cactus.
Sonic has a point, Shadow.
Whatever. We'll see you in a minute, Amy.
Alright, let me know when you're ready so we can head over to see those Christmas lights.
Will do.
And after the scene with Metal Sonic and Amy, we get a post-credit scene showing that Shadow actually did survive the destruction of the Eclipse Cannon.
Like I said, you can't kill off the ultimate life form and expect him to stay dead. So, that was Sonic the Hedgehog 3. One hell of a way to close off the year of Shadow. Something that I've been noticing with these movies is how they've been getting progressively better over time. And now that I made my official silver screen debut, I can now cross it off my bucket list. Keanu Reeves was born to play me. Even more so than Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Jack Traven from Speed, Duke Kaboom from Toy Story 4, Constantine, Neo from The Matrix, Johnny Silverhand from Cyberpunk 2077, and John fucking Wick.
Keanu was by far the perfect cast choice for Shadow. Just like with Ben Schwartz as Sonic, Idris Elba as Knuckles, and Jim Carrey as not only Eggman, but Professor Gerald Robotnik as well. And let's not also forget Colleen, who also voices me in the games.
The stakes have never been higher for a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I mean, yes, we got the Knuckles miniseries on Paramount Plus, but that was just an appetizer for the main course. It was just a prelude, an hors d'oeuvre, an aperitif, and a amuse-bouche. We get it, Sonic. They introduced Shadow at a perfect time, because this movie took so much inspiration from Sonic Adventure 2. Mostly keeping Shadow's backstory the same, and having Keanu play a faithful version of Shadow to the one that fans know and love. Mario had his chance to shine in 2023, but now it's Shadow's turn. A few months ago, we got one of the worst video game movies of all time, which was Borderlands, which thankfully we stayed far away from. And now, we have one of the best video game movies of all time, and the best movie of the year. It's gonna be difficult to top Sonic the Hedgehog 3 as not only the best movie of 2024, but also the best video game movie to date. I'm giving Sonic the Hedgehog 3 an S rank.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where they go with Sonic Movie 4.
You know what they say in that one song from Sonic Unleashed? The possibilities are endless.
Oh, Sonic. Sonic. That's not how the song goes. It goes something like this. I see it, and now it's all within my reach, and there's possibilities. I see it now, it's always been inside of me, and now I feel so free, and those possibilities. Thank you. Hold your applause. Thank you very much.
That's definitely one of the most iconic songs in the entire Sonic the Hedgehog series, but not quite as iconic as Live and Learn. And the way the song was used in the movie's climax, chef's kiss all around. Thank you for letting me join you in reviewing this movie.
No problem. And I'm happy I could tag along.
Anytime, guys.
Should we let Amy know about we're gonna head over to the city to look at Christmas lights? Even though this video will be out after Christmas. Nah.
Good idea, Tails. Thus concludes the Year of Shadow. Now I wonder where this series will go in 2025, but only time will tell. This is Shadow the Hedgehog signing off. Alright, Shadow, let's get going. We don't want to keep Amy waiting. Right, sorry about that. Let's get going. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Shadow, did you seriously have to quote night before Christmas when this video won't be uploaded until February? Fuck off, Silver!